What's up, Average Dev fans? Welcome back to another video. And yesterday you seemed to enjoy my first impressions of the new Samsung Z Fold 6. Well, today it's the time of its younger brother, sister, not identifiable object, the Z Flip 6. I want to give my first impressions after 24 hours of using it. And again, Samsung are doing some things right and some things wrong. Let's go. As you'll be aware, the unboxing experience of any Samsung product these days is horrendous. Inside the box you get the phone, a charging cable and a SIM ejection tool. That's it. So that can get thrown away. But when it comes to the initial first impressions, so to give you an idea, you unbox it and it looks like this. I think this, like the Z Fold 6 in that same crafted black colour, is fantastic. And it is textured. It has a really nice textures display. Now, I'll talk about the dimensions in a second, but I do just want to talk about the aluminium frame. It's matte, so you're not going to get fingerprints. There's a fingerprint sensor, a volume up and down. It's USB-C, and we'll talk about charging speed soon. A couple of 5G antennas and mics, and then of course there's the new hinge mechanism, which in my opinion is fine. In terms of flip devices, because I have on the desk, I will do this. I might do a full comparison, I might not, but you can see here, compared to the Honor V Flip, which again we'll talk about screen size, it's 6.9 inch and the Samsung 6.7. The V Flip is ever so slightly thinner, but it is absolutely wider, so it just depends on what you prefer. Now, as I mentioned, I want to talk about the screens. It's a 4-inch, yes, a 4-inch cover display, and for my money, one of the best outer cover displays on any device. It is fantastic. It's big, it's wide enough to use as a keyboard even with my big fat fingers. There's widgets, there's lots of things you can do here. Let me just unlock it. So of course you have customization options. So you can choose, there you go, that's a cool face, why not? Swipe right to get other widgets, and if you swipe left from the cover screen, you're going to get your notifications. Usual swipe down will bring you your quick toggles. If you're watching a YouTube video or listen to Spotify, if you use it on inner screen then close, it will appear picture in picture on the cover screen. And as mentioned, I really like the size of that cover screen, but most of you will want to see the inner screen, and here it is. 6.7 inch, as mentioned, compared to, let's just bring in this bad boy, the 6.9 inch wider V Flip. I don't know which one I prefer, to be honest. I'm just so used to Samsung being so narrow. The one thing I will say is, and I want to talk about right now, I mentioned the crease on the Z Fold 6 being markedly better than the Z Fold 5. Well, luckily I have another flip phone here, and if it's in direct light you can see the crease on both, but when it's straight on, I want to say you can see the Z Flip 6 ever so slightly more, and certainly to feel, I'm going to say you can feel the crease slightly more on the Samsung than you can the V Flip. But that is not to say that when the phone is on, you notice it. You don't. You absolutely don't notice the crease when it's on, when you're using the device. Let me just pop into settings here. See, I always use dark mode, and dark mode is where it's probably likely to show up most. Bright, vibrant screens are where it's going to hide it. But I'm in dark mode and you can barely see, or to be honest, it's really not noticeable even by touch. So, continuing on with the specs, obviously you can see here, like all flip phones, it's a dual camera setup. The one area that Samsung have improved though is actually the main camera. It is now a 50 megapixel main lens compared to the 12 they had previously. So while the Z Fold 6 didn't improve its camera, the Z Flip 6 did. And then another thing that I talked about in the Z Fold video was the battery size. The battery size in the Z Fold stuck at 4400 milliamp hours, but the Z Flip 6 actually got a bit of an increase, only by I think 150 milliamp hours. I need to fact check that, I'll pop that up here. But it is bigger, and with the 8 Gen 3 chip inside, which is more efficient than the previous 8 Gen 2 chip, it leads to all-day battery life. Very comfortably, actually, all-day battery life. Now, this is not a 2-day phone. To be fair, I've not had it 2 days, but I'll go out on a limb and say it's not going to be a 2-day phone. But all I need is one full day. Now, in terms of the software, I spoke about this yesterday, and I speak about it on every single Samsung video. One UI is the best software skin available, and if you download the Good Lock app, which is free from the Galaxy Play Store, you're going to get the most customization on any Android device. And if you're into AI, this phone, like all new Samsung Galaxies, has it in abundance. From the camera AI to the language AI to the speech to talk, the recording, the notes app. There are so many AI features that when I can be bothered and have time, I will make a dedicated video on. But rest assured, you can slam Samsung all you like for the price, which we'll get to, for the design, for the specs. There is one thing universally that I will not debate. Samsung has the best software. So I think it's probably time we do discuss a couple of the downsides. For me, and this isn't exclusive to Samsung, but if I'm paying over £1,000, yes, the 256GB variant of this device is £1,049. The 512GB variant, which this is £1,149. For that kind of money, I want a triple camera. And folks, you're not telling me that they can't fit it in 7mm unfolded. That is only 2mm thinner than the Honor Magic V3 folded. And when this is folded, 14.7mm. I'm sorry, you're not telling me that you can't fit, even if it's just a 10 megapixel 3x optical or a 12 megapixel 3x optical lens. For £1,000, that's a flagship price. I need to see a zoom lens included in phones that flip going forward. Not that I'll ever consider buying one and keeping one, to be honest. I ain't no Michael Fisher, but I know a lot of people that would love to see a zoom lens on this. But due to the increase in battery size, due to the really nice design, the hinge can be stopped at any angle. It is so solid, but not to the point where it feels stiff. I mean, look, that is incredible. Any angle from like 10 to 100 and 170 degrees, it locks on. To give you, again, an idea, a comparison, here is the V Flip. It will not stay. Look at that. I mean, that was 45 degrees. That's what, about 60 degrees? Oh, no, not staying. The only angle this will stay is 90, and that's it. So again, just to show you, the Samsung shaking it around will stop at about 20 degrees. 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And it'll keep going. And it won't straighten out until about 160, 165 degrees. That is some fantastic hinge engineering, folks. So other than the price, I don't actually find many faults or flaws with the Z Flip 6. In my opinion, it's the best flip device out there. It beats the Mix Flip. It beats the Honor V Flip. It beats all of them. And I've tried all of them, other than the new Mix Flip, which I may order, I may not. So Samsung are getting their flip phones absolutely right. I just feel, again, until they can get a triple camera setup, I would like to see the 256GB version priced at £849 and £949 for the half terabyte. That to me seems super reasonable. Let's throw it back to me for my first impressions. So there we have it. If you watched the Z Fold 6 first impressions, you will find quite a few similarities with the Z Flip 6 in terms of price, innovation, and cameras. Everything else about this Flip 6, I love. I just personally don't like flip phones. That's the biggest issue for me. I have the Honor V Flip here, and both are really, really well designed, good phones with good specs, and it's amazing how much technology and computing power they can fit into something like this. But I'm just not a flip fan. However, if you are a flip fan and you want to get your hands on this very one, my Samsung Z Flip 6 is obviously for sale. It has not left the house. I'll not be doing a full review on it. The first impressions is pretty much all it's going to get. So it's ready to be shipped tomorrow. As you all know, this is the half terabyte version, which is £1,150 on Samsung.com. A fair price is to share most of the money I got off the device. So, first come, first serve, £750, half terabyte, shipped to you tomorrow. Let me know on Instagram if you're interested, and hopefully you've enjoyed this first impressions. I will be back soon, and in the next few days I will have the Vivo X100 Ultra camera kit from SmallRig, the Honor Magic V3, and the Xiaomi Mix Fold 4, and maybe a couple of other things, surprises. If that sounds good, you know what to do, and until next time,